say, I am making this call to the U.S. government
algo que no tiene posibilidad alguna de que sea entendido.
but maybe they won't understand me. Maybe there is no chance that they can understand me
Más allá de las buenas intenciones de algunos
because even beyond good intentions of some president, that in the middle of a system that is
sistemas más perversos que existe en la humanidad, cuando
the worst, that is part of the system that is the worst system in humanity.
después lanzan una de arena,
So they do a good action, then they do a bad action.
Obama con Cuba.
For instance, Obama with Cuba.
Y Obama de repente tomó decisiones que sorprendieron.
Obama suddenly took decisions that surprised the world.
Pero mientras tomaba esas decisiones que
But in the
sorprendían
meantime,
al mundo, luego aquello fue un castillo de naipes que se derrumbó.
then all those initiatives, they fail.
Y ahora que está el vicepresidente, que era de Obama como presidente,
And now the person who was the vice president of Obama, now he is the president who even make promises of free taking all the opening that was made by Obama. Now
está endureciendo, recrudeciendo.
he is making all the contrary. He is strengthening the sanctions. The same happens with the migration issues. He said he will fight for the rights of asylum seekers, all the crimes committed against these people, the disappropriation of all these people who are seeking for asylum there.
Esto tendrá que cambiar, si en los Estados Unidos, seguro que tendrá que cambiar.
I think many things have to change in the U.S.
No hay mal que pueda ser eterno.
No evil can last
Y
forever.
en los Estados Unidos está
And now in the U.S., they have a crisis.
porque imagínense, porque unos cuantos miles de norteamericanos
Imagine why thousands of U.S. citizens
señalaban que les habían robado las elecciones
who said that the elections were a fraud
al anterior presidente.
during the previous president. They went to the Congress to protest.
Llevaban unas 4 armas.
They were carrying some weapons.
Como resultado
As a result,
de ese asalto al Congreso,
As a result of that assault to the White House, there were 5 or 6 people who died.
bueno, y hubo una situación pues que
And it created a situation there.
Estados Unidos se volvió noticia
And it became famous news all over.
de enorme trascendencia. Al final,
At the end,
bueno, tienen en la cárcel a 700 norteamericanos.
right now there are 700 people in jail because they went to protest to the White House. U.S. people in jail. So, we can say there are political prisoners. Of course they are. What are you waiting to free those political prisoners? What are you waiting for? Those are 700 political prisoners who are in your jails.
Duro contra ellos. Mientras por otro lado
On the other hand,
lanzan
They are organizing and committing terrorist acts against brothers countries like the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela,
donde no hubieron 6 muertos, sino que ahí hubieron, bueno, centenares de muertos.
where not only 6 people died, but hundreds of people died.
Tenían trancadas las calles, las ciudades.
They closed the city.
Intentos de golpe de Estado.
They had different attempts of coup, provoking more death.
¿Cuántos muertos han provocado los actos de terrorismo que promueven?
How many deaths have caused all the terrorist acts organized by the U.S. government against Venezuela?
¿Cómo habrían reaccionado los yanquis?
What would have been the reaction of the U.S. government if they had to face terrorist acts like we have to face it back in 2018?
Para ellos, simplemente era el gobierno que estaba violando los derechos humanos.
For them, it was only the government was violating the human rights of some citizens when they killed more than 40 policemen, and they also assassinated more than hundreds, almost 200 people.
Ciudadanos. Y que tuvieron paralizado el país.
And they paralyzed the country during several months.
Para ellos eso no es terrorismo.
But for them, that is not terrorism, because it was organized by them. And when they do it, then it is not called terrorism. They call it the fight for the democracy, the fight for the human rights. Meanwhile, in the U.S., the population, the Afro-American people, they protest daily for the crimes committed. They are persecuted in a brutal way, and they even kill them brutally. And we see the images of torture. And then they don't go to jail, the persecutors. They don't go to jail. Even if they go to the court, they are released. They are not sentenced. It's a society that is right now breaking internally. They are having a crisis of values. They themselves say that accusation against these alleged fraudulent elections, they said that the U.S. is not the same. Yes, they say that it's not the same because they cannot continue with the lies to the U.S. people. Here, the Nicaraguan people, we are not the enemy of the U.S. We have never been enemy to them, not even Venezuela or Cuba.
Cuando se organice el ALBA, bajo la conducción del comandante Fidel, del comandante Chávez.
When ALBA was organized under the administration of Fidel Castro and Hugo Chavez, it was not an organization to act with as terrorists. It was just to develop capacities for the countries of the area, of the region, and to defeat poverty in the Latin American and Caribbean region. ALBA was never meant to be a threat for the U.S. Even Venezuela, in a noble act, supplying energy to poor people in the U.S. through Venezuelan companies that are located in the territory of the U.S. and that are now being stalled by the U.S. government. So they were giving energy, they were giving electricity to those people so they don't die during the winter.